Hello, how are you doing today?
Yes, still gathering.
Alright, so I see uh, the momentum is still building on YouTube now. So as you're coming in, you're welcome. Our team would inform me when we go live on Facebook. So please, you can call your friends now. We're about to get started fully. Alright, you're welcome on YouTube. How have you been? Great, I guess. Okay. So people are coming in on YouTube now, I believe. So we'll be waiting for our guys on Facebook so we can start. So they don't miss a thing. But we appreciate you for coming this early, Facebook viewers and YouTube viewers. And we'll be on Facebook shortly and we'll kick the program started. Okay. So whenever we're on Facebook, we'll get started for. All right, so we are on Facebook now. Yeah. Today is 10th. Yeah, we're on Facebook now. On the 10th of May 2018. Can you imagine? The days run so fast now, it's like there isn't turbo engine. But well, the good thing is that we're a part of it and we're able to witness it. And so that's why I welcome you today to the program, Dear DSA with BAMISAYE Victor. So for some of you it's morning, for some of you it's afternoon, for some of you it's evening, whatever the time of the day is, I want to wish you a good one. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you may be around the world. And this is Dear DSA with BAMISAYE Victor, and we always have a constant guest, a constant partner, a constant friend with whom we do this program and we make it a success. I will be introducing him later in the day. Some of you know him already, some of you don't. So for those of you who don't, just keep your fingers crossed. You will know who our guest is, who our friend and partner is very soon. All right, so can I see those who are on Facebook so I can welcome you. Let me see. Who do we have on Facebook? All right, I can see Victor Ifugi. I can see Emmanuel Timitokwe Ogunfadike. Thank you so much for joining. Bemi David Lawal, Sally Adai, Tuli Maziboko. How are you, Tuli? So best way I will not see you. Bless you too. Godfrey Stern. God bless you. Bumigbero LND. Jacob Esson. Moses Bucci. Chooks Tagbo Odunei. I can see Shalom Goriola. Mike Devito. David Osilaja. Mev Osi Reme. Alright, so guys, you're welcome. Please do well to share. Don't forget to share right away. Don't hesitate. Just press the share button now and invite your friends. I can see Akin Julius, Akinleye, Moses Bucci, Baru Kako, Royal Crown Nono, Janet Babatunde, Adejumo Champion, and Nessie Ajinomo. So guys, you're welcome. You're welcome, Vivian Onaiwu. You're so much welcome to the program today. So please do well to share, invite your friends, and we'll get it started. We get the program started. We are going to kick it started right now and right away. No time to waste. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my partner on the program, my very own friend, and guest. He's a brother, he's a mentor, he's everything you can mention that influence someone positively. So I am inviting at the moment and introducing Dr. Sunday Adelaja, whom many of you know as DSA. So you're welcome today, sir.
Yep.
The house wants to meet you.
Yes, well, it's us today, and say we're happy to see you, and we hope that the letter we are going to examine today will be a blessing to you.
All right. So the last time we rounded up a letter from someone who spoke about how she has been influenced, not just her, but also her family by you and your messages, and they've helped her grow closer to God and also revolutionized her and shown her the innate gifts she had and used to overlook. And now she is an author and she is looking forward to writing more books. What would you like to say in hindsight to that?
The only thing I can say is that this is possible for everybody else. Everybody else could attain any height by the, I would like to say God has built a ladder here, and anybody who would dare to use this ladder will get to their destination. So God has built a ladder in this house and in this place. So this DSA platform is both a ladder and also a bridge. Anybody can come and use this bridge to cross over to the other side of their purpose and destiny in life. It doesn't matter the weight of the load you are carrying. It doesn't matter the weight of the burden that is on you. It doesn't matter how gruesome or how burdened you have been. If you will just get to this bridge, it will take you over to the destination that heaven intended for you originally. So that's what we call DSA family. And I'm here as a servant for God Almighty and servant for all of you, to serve you people in any capacity that God has prepared me to be able to deliver my service.
All right. Thank you so much, and we bless God for the ladder He has provided in you and the bridge that He has created in you. And many of us are standing tall on your shoulders, and we hope you can look back in 30, 40 years. In fact, in the next 5 years, 3 years from now, I say, yeah, we took the baton and we ran, not just with so much speed, but also in the right direction. Okay, so without further ado, I have a very interesting letter today. It's interesting from the get-go, and when you now discover where the letter is coming from, and you will see that the work is moving ahead, and a lot of people are getting a lot of people are getting the heat of the message, and it's transforming lives.
Okay.
So the title for today said, Africans have read, but wrong books.
Mm-hmm.
Once you hear that sort of title, sir, before even going to the letter, what comes to your mind? When this person said, Africans have read, but wrong books.
I don't think what he's talking about refers to Africans in general.
Okay.
I would like to, maybe if I discuss with the person might, might prove me wrong. But I think when he's talking about Africans, he's talking about Christian Africans.
Okay.
African Christians have definitely read the wrong books. When I was growing up in Africa, and even after I came to Europe as a young Christian, the only kind of books that were circulating in my world as a Christian that time in Nigeria and among Nigerians and Africans, if you are a Christian, you only read books by Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland, those kind of books that are just, those are soft books, like I call them. Those are not books. Those are just glorified pamphlets. They are just pamphlets. But apart from the fact that they are pamphlets, but they are not just pamphlets in the physical only, but in content also. There is no thought in them. There is no, no depth in them. These are just, people are just making money. People are just selling books and either making money or dishing out some very light, very light content of books. I mean, one of my books now, any one of them, there is no, I don't think any one of them could be compared, especially the ones I've been writing the past few years. There is no other books that people read in African context when I was growing up that is compared to any one single one of my books. Any one you take, it will take you 20 books out of those ones that we used to read those days. You will need to read 20 of those books to just be able to get the content of one of my books. So, yeah. So I understand where it's coming from, that Africans have read the wrong books. I think those are just Christian Africans. Maybe other Africans read, which I doubt, but I hope other Africans are reading normal books, but better books in terms of development, rather than just this, spiritual soap opera books that these people are reading.
All right, sir. So I guess then, with your thought, we can dive right straight into the content of the letter. So I'll try to read paragraph by paragraph, and we'll see how that goes.
Good.
All right. So he said, "I greet you in the love of Jesus Christ, who died because of our sins. I have been a keen follower of your live broadcast.
Louder.
I've been a keen follower of your live broadcasts and written books, documents, etc. Surely you have affected me, both spiritual and real life on this earth. I have been busy making summaries and sharing them across Zambia and across Zambians and other friends and relatives across the world. In my life, I have always loved sharing the cream of my discoveries, and you just cemented that cake with the real and best cream, DSA."
Yeah.
So that's the first paragraph.
Okay, what do I have to say about this? I think that's a good thing that somebody from Zambia, all the way from Zambia, is writing such a testimony. If he calls my books and my materials, my videos, the best of the best that he had ever come across, that's a little bit comforting to me, because my lifestyle on a daily basis is a lifestyle of sacrifice, a lifestyle that is 90% of the time devoted to serving people and helping people and thinking through on how to help others and how to make people around me and the world around me better. So if somebody appreciates that, and not just by saying thank you, like the way Nigerians, everybody just say thank you, no, but with real evidence of changed lives, that he's saying his life is changed and he's already doing something to change other people's lives. Like he says, he's repackaging my books and messages in smaller pamphlets to be able to get to people. I guess because the Africans don't read big books or fat books like mine, so he has to break them into smaller pieces. If that is the case, I'm only happy for it.
Oh, that's great. One thing I could see from the author, at least from his own words, is that he likes to share whenever he discovers something
Beautiful.
worthwhile, something that's a treasure. He likes to share. So he is saying now that he is going to make summary of this treasure that is found in your messages and your books and other documents. And surely, even for those of you who may say you don't like reading books, just go to SundayAdelajablog.com and then you'll see a lot of articles written by Pastor Sunday. So even if you don't want to read the full book, The articles there for you to read, and they are very full of information. So that's another free place you can get information. All right. So he is saying now that having received this from your message, true to his nature, he wants to share, and he wants to share not just to Zambians, but also to his relatives and friends across the world. So I think when one comes in contact actually with your message, and I mean they are on YouTube, they are there for the whole world to see. But I think hardly can anyone listen to it without sentiment and not be transformed. And hardly can anyone listen to it without sentiment and not see it for the treasure, or see them for the treasures that they are. And I think that's the realness that the author is sharing through his letter.
But the most important thing is without sentiment.
Without sentiment, yeah. Sure, without sentiment. One has to be open. And someone said that there's a difference between being open and being empty. So you have to be open to the information and receive it, then process it with the right mindset, with deep cognition, and you're good to go. You will just discover it. It's hardly impossible for you not to discover those treasures. So that's my own opinion. Also with regards to what the author has said. But true to it is the next. True, just to buttress what you have said and I've said about his first line, is in the second line. So he's saying, I've got some points, and I would like people to know I would be the happiest if you could find some time to share out these lines to the followers and listeners.
Oh, that's exactly what we are doing now.
So I don't know if you are watching today, but your request is here now. So we are sharing that same thing that you have asked us to share. We are sharing it to the viewers and listeners today. All right, so let's go into the main point of what is written. So he has the first point, which is Africans do not read books. Throughout the live broadcast, many people have tabled up this issue as to why our continent is and has been destroyed, especially economically, citing the lack of knowledge which comes from reading various texts or books. So I guess I should finish this whole thought process. My opinion is that millions of Africans have read and have been reading books and been exposed to the highest universities in the world with full exposure to the greatness of the developed nations. But still, when they return home, they either try to make a meaningful impact which is blocked by the in-government politicians, or they too take advantage of their great exposure in joining the thieving politicians. I have been told of a great scientist from Cameroon who obtained a PhD in Canada, worked there for many years in top-ranking positions. He later gave up his job and decided to return and develop his country. He went to his village to put up electricity throughout the area. The government locked him up. Until now, the guy is regretting behind bars. Over 10 years in prison now. Another professor, Shiwa of Zambia, based in UK, came back to develop Zambia and has been very instrumental in developing England in the engineering sector. He decided to return home to help develop Zambia. The city minister destroyed the guy. He had to run back to the UK. If these politicians had created an equal and enabling playing field, Africa would never be the same as it is DSA. So that's the first thought, sir.
Yeah, I think there are two thoughts there.
Okay, so the second thought is the right books.
Okay.
DSA, I'm not writing this to appease to you.
No, even the one you already read.
That I've read, okay.
There is a thought up there first about books,
okay.
Then about the African contribution.
Yes, sir.
So
you want me to read that again?
Yes.
Okay. So throughout the live broadcast, many people have tabled up this issue as to why our continent is and has been destroyed, especially economically, citing the lack of knowledge which comes from reading various texts or books.
Yes. So our country is being destroyed or is lagging behind because people don't read books. If we have seen that as a diagnosis or a cause that is leading to the effect of backwardness and poverty that we are having right now, if that is the case, I think it is a matter of policy for the sitting government in those countries to resolve that problem. I think that in Nigeria, for example, only 50% of the country is literate. 40. I thought it's 50. So let's say 40 or 50% of Nigerians is literate. So out of that population, I personally think if our government really mean business, that in 3 to 5 years' time, we could make the whole country literate. That would be my own belief. But I don't see the seriousness on the side of the government yet in that regard. That's number one. Number two, even the ones that are literate don't read books, apart from the one they read in school. So that's a challenge, and I really hope I will have the time and the opportunity to contribute to resolving that problem when it's time of illiteracy in our continent. But as much as I believe in books and the superiority of books and the place of book in human evolution, I am a little bit wary these days about books. I'm a little bit wary about books, bearing in mind the unprecedented technological progress that our world right now is experiencing. I'm concerned, personally, about books and about the future world that we are moving into. I'm concerned and a little bit wary, if not troubled, for the future world that is ahead of us. I don't know what to think any longer in regards to books and in regards to posterity. Just like Jesus once said that, when I come, will I find faith on the earth? I think I'm experiencing a similar feeling and a similar sentiment like Jesus did. I'm concerned that in the next 500 years, there might not be books anymore. I'm really concerned about that. Or maybe there will still be books, but maybe there will be such a transformation that will, I cannot picture it yet, how, in what forms this transformation is going to take books. I'm almost certain that books are going to be extinct in the future world. And books are no longer going to hold the place they have always held in history. But if that happens to books, my concern is what form will books emerge to, or what form will books take if paper books and books as such are going to be extinct. So as a writer who is using a considerable amount of my time and life to write, I am really debating this, and another reason why I'm debating this is I want to be able to. I like to foresee the future and look ahead and see into the future where is what will replace books. So that right now we may, so that we could begin to propagate the future replacement of books for Africa rather than books itself, which is fast becoming something of the past. So that is my own thought. But on the other hand, I'm thinking maybe books will not disappear. Maybe books will not disappear. Logically thinking, I think it will disappear, or they will disappear. And trend-wise, I think they will disappear. The only thing that is making me to have a second thought in either they will disappear or they will not disappear is that even God took his son from the earth and left us his book. So if God could use book as a form of depositing himself among men, can it really be replaced? Can it really be extinct? Although the form of book that God left was scrolls, and now we don't have scrolls anymore. Maybe that's exactly what will happen to books that we're having now. A metamorphosis of some sort. Yeah, I'm thinking about these things. These things occupy my mind a lot. Because I'm thinking of 300 years to come and 500 years to come. And how can we take advantage of the changing world to make Africa go ahead of time rather than lag behind time? Yeah, so I think those are just my own complications. Normal human beings don't think about those things. I think that's my own problem. Don't worry about it. But what is he talking about?
Yeah, but just to talk about that and to validate what you're saying, right now they are trying to save a lot of data in water molecules. So, and not just that, they found out that the DNA can store as many as possible. I mean, I've forgotten the measure, but it's just so big, just one molecule of DNA can store as so many, a lot of movies, a lot of heavy data. So, and right now they're trying to store memories of people in DNAs, in water molecules. So, in the very near future, they're able to recreate the awareness of another person, either in a new person or in a clone. How the whole world is just moving at fast speed. Yeah, so for sure, I think
I know that what they're already working on is this what do you call this, crypto mining?
Yeah, cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it has a currency, but the mining technology itself, is it data mining or what do you call it?
That's crypto. Crypto is on
mining.
Yeah, that's crypto mining.
Because if this cryptocurrency is done through mining. Yeah, it is the mining that produces the crypto. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The whole technology of mining
crypto,
is going to be used not just for currency.
Yeah.
It's going to be used for information storage.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
And some people are already thinking about that.
As a matter of fact, it consumes more energy than the whole world is consuming right now.
Right.
So the world is moving at a very fast pace, but one thing that will be mutable is information itself, data. But the form of storage definitely will always change. The question would be, like you said, would we be able to move at the pace of advancement that the world is moving?
But will books disappear or not?
Paper books may become things of history, and that's, you can already see that by the way we read Amazon, we read on our devices on Kindle. Yeah. So paper books, I think, may soon become a thing of history, but it may be preserved, especially for the sense of those who want to feel old school. And
That will not be, no matter how old school you are, you cannot exceed 100 years. Because the ones that are just being born now, the next 100 years, they themselves will be 100 years old. So
in my opinion, it will still
so
remain.
the ones that were born during boom time, they would have dead, all of them would have been dead by then.
But in my opinion, I think it will still remain. Although there will be advancements made to what we read on screen to make it feel more paper-like, but I'm still thinking it will still remain, for at least for the tangibility of carrying. For 100 years, I think books will still be around, at least for the next 100 years. So, but there will be more advancement in the aspect of how suitable reading on screen is, especially for ophthalmological reasons. Because sometimes reading on screen can be very bad for the sight. So a lot of people prefer to read. And a lot of people prefer just that idea of flipping papers.
Because they were born in that age.
Yes. They were born in that age. But you know,
but the ones that have been born now, they are already been born in terms of electronics.
But as much as they are still being born in terms of electronics, there's still a bridge that connects paper and the electronics. So you still may find people who still will be conservative enough to still want to remain with paper. And that's the whole idea of technology, and when it comes, there is always a fight between the old existing and the new ones. So the question is always, how long would the old technology last before it gives way? And in my own opinion, I think for the next 100 years, we still have paper books. But it would be paper books, but things like newspapers, all of those other ones that don't contain core information will disappear as fast as possible.
What about in universities and schools? I already know that in some universities and schools, they already don't prescribe books, only electronic books.
Yeah. We are going to digital library generally now. They are going digital, but again, one would not. Well, the world is advancing, so one must not remain at one place. But in my opinion, I still think in 100 years we still have paper books. Maybe not. It will definitely not at the rate at which we have them now, or how widespread it is now. It will definitely reduce, but it will still be around. So, I'll go to the second thought process. So he said, my opinion is that millions of Africans have been reading books, and being exposed to the highest universities in the world, with full exposure to greatness and the developed nations. But they still return home, when they return home, they either try to make a meaningful impact, which is blocked by the in-government politicians, or they too take advantage of their great exposure by joining the thieving politicians. Then he went on to name two examples. I've been told of a great scientist from Cameroon who obtained a PhD in Canada, worked there for many years in top-ranking positions. He later gave up his job and decided to return and develop his country. He went to his village to put up electricity throughout the area. The government locked him up, and until now the guy is regretting behind bars. Over 10 years in prison now. Then he gave another example. Another professor, Chirwa of Zambia, based in the UK, came back to develop Zambia. He has been very instrumental in developing England in the engineering sector. He decided to return home to help develop Zambia. The city ministers destroyed the guy. He had to run back to UK. If these politicians have created an equal and enabling playing field, Africa would never be the same as it is.
Yeah, well, the people who are being educated overseas and are coming back to Africa, yeah, I think that is one of the dangers that we all face going back to Africa. I actually got a letter today from somebody who was begging me either not to go back to Nigeria. I get that kind of letter every week. People begging me not to go back to Nigeria, to reconsider my decision to move for different reasons, either because of enemies or because of geos or because of zealous uh, followers and faithfuls that will be waiting to harm me, or because of infrastructure that is not there, or because of peace that is here, serene atmosphere, all kind of reasons why people say I shouldn't go back to Nigeria, and legitimate and tangible arguments and reasons. So yeah, like this political reason is one of the dangers that anybody planning to go back to Africa will face. I think the answer to that, in my own case, is that what needs to be done must be done, but we must be careful to prepare very well. So in my own case, careful preparation is the key. I've got to prepare myself and very well, and my team, before we step out to move to Africa. So that only goes to confirm the fact that the dangers are real and the terrain are dangerous. But for me, danger is not a big deal. The mission is the worthiness of the mission makes it worth it, make it worth it. So my commitment is to the mission, and in spite or despite the danger. I think somebody was talking with me the other day and said, I think it was you, that somebody made a statement that Pastor Sunday, with all this zeal and talk he's making, let him come back when he's kidnapped. Yes, when he's kidnapped, he will wake up and he come to reality. Yeah, so that is a straight talk, straightforward talk. But that is a talk that belongs to the category of observers. You see, there are three categories of people in life. There are the observers who just are out there, observing and commenting and about what is going on in the world. This happened, that happened. Did you hear they have kidnapped that one? Did you hear that professor? Did you hear that? I don't belong to that category. I'm not an observer of life or of history. Neither am I a commentator of history or of events. So a lot of people in life are observers or commentators. Did you hear? They say it happened to. We told it now. Why did you do it? You see? Me, I don't. Those are observers. But then, apart from observers, there are critics. The critics are the ones who are saying he did it, but he did it bad. But why should he do it like that? The tactics is used, like now, everybody is criticizing my method of communication or of correction. Okay, maybe the things he is saying are not bad, but he shouldn't have done like that. No, I won't have done it like that. No, the methods is what we don't like. We don't agree with the method. Those are critics. That is just how life is. So there are the observers or the commentators, then there are the critics, and then you have the doers, people who make things happen. So when I hear of things like this, somebody was kidnapped, or they put another one in prison, those people, everybody have their own role to play in life, in history. So those talk belong to commentators and observers of history. But in my own case, when I hear of things like that, it only goes to inform me that the job still must be done, the mission still must be accomplished. Only I must have the awareness of the hazards and the dangers on the way, I must simply be aware that, well, there are possibilities like being kidnapped, being put in prison, being killed, all those things. And my response will again be an answer or a solution, which would be responding by coming up with a formula that will make me to still carry out the mission without falling a victim of any of those hazards. Yeah, so that's the way I would look at it. And the same thing I would advise all the foreigners who are studying abroad and want to go back to their countries to help develop the nations. They should just get a bit more prepared. They should be more adequately prepared. They should be more ready to go back, to contribute, and go back to make sure they escape all the dangers and the hazards that are on ground.
Yeah, someone said, please, you can still use the name I want. I saw this very interesting comment by someone, so I would like you to address it. He said, find a way to escape Nigeria. Go to, wherever you can go around the world, build your life, and then come back. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that's basically what we are doing, what I'm doing now.
Okay.
I've been here for 30-something years, building my life. And I want to be ready, fully ready before I get back.
Okay.
And I think that's why God is keeping me here still. Because if to go by my emotions and temperament, I probably would have gone back by now. But I think God also is interested in that allegory. That I need to be, and not just, there was a time when Jesus was born, God instructed that he would be removed out of Judea and taken to Egypt. And when he was taken to Egypt, we didn't hear anything much about him. Then an angel came to his parents and said, Joseph, now you can go back because these people who are after the lad's life are no more. So I think that's what God is doing with me. God is saying, no, you want to go back, but I know you want to go back, but I will not allow you to go back here until the dangers that are on ground, until for the lad's life will be over. Then I will be permitted to go back.
And then another set of people will feel like, people are trying to escape from this place. Why are you trying to come?
Oh, very simple. I have a very simple explanation for that. Very simple explanation. Very vivid explanation. And I will not stop people who want to escape from Nigeria from escaping. I would rather advise them to escape. If there are places they can go to make a better life for themselves, let them go. But in my case, I have already done what they are planning to do. I had already traveled out of Nigeria and I've lived most of my life, more than 2 times of my life, I've lived outside of Nigeria. 2/3 of my life, I've lived outside of Nigeria. So why am I trying to go to the place where they are trying to escape from? The reason is because, number one, I have come to a place where my experience and my success have informed me that I can contribute to Nigeria. I have done things that I know if God will allow me to do in Nigeria, then I would like to contribute and do those things in Nigeria. For years, I've secretly prayed in my heart that, God, why don't you allow me to do for Nigeria what I've been able to do for this country here? So I am now looking for opportunity to do for Nigeria and Nigerians what God has used me to do for other nations. That's one thing. Now, another thing is that the people who are running away from Nigeria, they are running away because they don't have the means and the answer to the challenges, or to confront the challenges that they are facing in Nigeria. So they have to escape from Nigeria so that the situation, the overwhelming situation there, will not kill them and destroy their potential. So they have to run away to a place that will give them a better opportunity to develop their potential. But in my own case, I think I've developed those potentials enough. and I have enough know-how and resources to now come back to face and tackle those same challenges that they are running away from. At the point, I also was running away from those challenges because I didn't have the know-how and the means and the resources to face and tackle those challenges at that point. But by the time I go back, I will be more than ready to challenge and confront those challenges that people are running away from. And if they want to run away from Nigeria, good for them. I want to run back to Nigeria and make Nigeria such a place that they will be running back to, by the grace of God.
Thank you so much for that encouraging word. So that, as we are talking about this development, a lot of people do not have what it takes to survive in that condition now, and still want to be a part of that development. Sometimes they find themselves missing. They think, but I want to be a part of this thing. So they are not encouraged to plan their life as they wanted to. So the idea is that you can't give what you don't have. Whatever it will take you to build for your life, but it must be with the purpose of coming back to develop your nation, because nobody will do that for us. All right, so I'll continue with this letter. So the next thoughts process here is the right books. It said, DSA, I'm not writing this to appease you, but this is real. We have read all the wrong books. That even made us to misinterpret or misunderstand the Bible, hence falling in the hands of these false prophets in the quest of attaining success on the earth. What do you think about this phrase? Or you want me to complete the thought process?
Yeah, you have to complete.
All right. So the books most people have read are either institutional ones leading to some certification to get a job, probably coupled with some success-tailored books written by non-believers with no single quote from the Bible. And probably through such books, still law could not come through attain soon still law could not come to attain the expected success level.
I'm not sure I'm getting.
All right. I'll start the phrase again.
Yeah, from the beginning.
paragraph.
Explain, yeah.
Okay. So DSA, I'm not writing this to appease you, but this is real. We have all read the wrong books. That even made us to misinterpret or misunderstand the Bible, hence falling in the hands of these false prophets in the quest of attaining success on this earth. The books most people have read are either institutional ones, leading to some certification to get a job, probably coupled with some success-tailored books written by non-believers with no single quote from the Bible. And probably through such books, still luck could not come to attain the expected success levels. Hence, finding oneself in the hands of these false prophets and prophets for life solutions, eventually finding one's worshiping the man of God.
Yeah. Again, those are books regarding. Those are all. I think the one thing is said that is absolutely right is that a lot of people who go to school in Africa are thinking they just read the school books. Even people that I've met here in Ukraine, 99 out of 10 Africans that I've met here, they only read, they are medical students, but they are only reading their medical schools, medical books, which makes me to believe, almost to think that they are not more educated. These are medical students who have graduated from medical school, but when I meet with them and I talk to them, it's like they've not gone to school at all. I even wonder if they are pretty primary or secondary school. And this is because, when you just read your school book, you are not educated yet. The basis of education is your ability to question and your capacity to understand that life is based on cause and effect. But a lot of people who just go to one profession they might not be able to apply those principles to life. They only go to school to get a job. And that is the biggest danger that the educational system of Africa, that the colonial masters or the capitalist system left for the African society. We go to school to get the job. We go to school to get so that we'll be employable. That means we go to school not to get educated, but we go to school to be employed slaves. And that's what it's referring to. And then those of us who now add religion to it will become slaves on another level. In what he's referring to, whereby after reading those their religious books, we now begin to bow down to our fellow men. We now begin to worship the so-called pastors and Jews. And that means we have square two slavery. Slavery through educational system and slavery through religious practices and dogmas.
So could it be an intentional design that the academic structure, especially in Africa, does not help people to discover themselves?
Yes, this is not just in Africa, because Africa is simply copying what is attainable in the capitalist world, in the Western world. And what is attainable in the Western world? The Western world is a capitalist society. And capitalism is a world that is controlled by capital. So the people who have capital, the people who have money, they control the world and all of that work for them. So the educational system is set up by the capitalists, by the people who control the money. And the people who control the box, they are the ones that employ the workers to set up systems so that people, the system of education, so that people who go to school, finish school, and come and work for the capital owners. So that is what the way the world is run. And that is the only educational system that is brought to Africa. As a result, we just automatically become a big field in the production of slaves through educational system. So we have to really set up a new worldview and a new philosophy of education in terms of setting up an educational system that will address the man as an individual, equal to anybody on earth, that has a unique, distinct calling and passion in him that needs to be unveiled and uncovered so that it will be launched and released to do something unique that will glorify his creator and that will bring him to fulfillment and joy.
Yes, sir. So how would you, or what would you consider a complete package in a book? If you were not to look at it, obviously these are the factors with which you write your own books, but probably it could help not just those who want to write, but also those who are reading books, so that they are not satisfied with just any information they get. What should be the markers that they should be looking for that makes them know that if I read this book, I should check for this, check for this, check for this, to know that I've actually read the right book and not just the wrong book?
First of all, every book has a mission, every book has a goal. That's why books have titles. So the first thing you want to find out is this title corresponded with the content that is in the book? So is the book itself delivering what it has promised? Number two, is the book practical enough, not just to inform me, but to also teach me how to do and how to practice and become whatever is written in that book? Number three, we need to also look at the factor of inspiration or motivation. Does the book have the right ingredients to motivate me or inspire me to go ahead and do what I'm getting from the book? And is maybe the next point will be, do I see any urgency? Is the book putting any urgency in me? And does the book help me leave a legacy? You know, will it help me to come to a place of legacy? Yeah, I think those are the main things that I would like to point out when it comes to any book.
All right, sir. So that's very great. Please take note of those points. I couldn't catch them fully as of now to repeat to you. So for those of you who didn't get it, this is why you have to share. Take this moment out to share. And as you share, you can go back and watch it again. Pastor DSA has just given you the key points that you can use to access any book that you are reading. Not just his own books, any book at all that you lay your hands upon and you are reading. Because what the author of this letter is basically saying is that it's not about the fact that Africans have not been reading, but they've been reading the wrong books. And so DSA has given us the key points to look for. Does it put urgency in you? What is the motive? Does it motivate you? What is it? What's the direction of the book? So, and so much more that he has said. So, share, invite your friends, share to every place where you think this is necessary. Go over it again and use those points the next time you grab a book, and also for the books you've read before, and you'll be able to know if the books you've read has been of any help. Somehow I'm feeling some sense of deja vu in this conversation. I don't know if you feel the same.
No.
I'm feeling some sense of deja vu. So it's like maybe this thing has happened somewhere before.
I'm not.
While I was reading the letter before I got to the last paragraph before you responded, I felt just like, I was feeling like, okay, it's like this thing has happened and Julie told me that. I just felt that way. I don't know. But that's how I felt anyway. All right, so I'll go to the next paragraph, sir. It's saying, DSA, your books are a solution to the world's problem. Spiritually, physically, emotionally, sentimentally, business-wise, etc. Every book that I've either read or analyzed is a complete package. How wonderful Africa and the entire world would be if all Christians and others read your materials or read your materials. Only if we had much earlier followed your doctrine and read.
Only if we had much more earlier followed.
Only if we had much earlier followed your doctrine and read most of your books, today's Christianity would be in the best position, and Africa would have been saved, and be in a sound position to compete with developed Western nations. There is no text I have come across from you that you have insisted on, give my church and be blessed. To the contrary, you have talked much about self-empowerment and helping and uplifting the poor, even using our living Bible scriptures to attain even the earthly success. So there are two things there. I'll read the one I want you to go into first before we come into the second one. So it's in DSA, your books are a solution to the world's problems, spiritually, physically, emotionally, sentimentally, business-wise, etc. Every book that I have either read or analyzed is a complete package. How wonderful Africa and the entire world would be if all Christians and others read your materials or read your materials. Only if we had much earlier followed your doctrine and read most of your books, today's Christianity would have been in the best position, and Africa would have been saved and be in a sound position to compete with the developed Western nations. It seems to me like you get this a lot.
Yeah.
You get this a lot from. So how do you do it? I want to know, particularly from this letter. For being with you, and especially from the first moment when I first came around you, you give 6 points. And to me, I'm just like, these 6 points, I did not the same thing. Not only when I got closer, and I also was able to look and I was able to see these 6 months are actually different. How do you do it? Because that is the same mechanism with which what we will consider as one subject, you can bring 6 different books from it. And if anyone wants to challenge, maybe I could show an example. Maybe you will be answering that, and I will look for the books and show the example. The book on Nigeria economy and the way forward. That was on economy, Nigerian economy. You wrote another one, how Nigerian economy can overtake the American economy. One would think that is just one school of thought, just economy, Nigerian economy at the best streamline. But you were able to produce 2 books out of that. How do you do it?
Okay. The difference between good and great is in details. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
The difference between anything, in any profession, in any area of life, the difference between good and great is in details. For example, I'm wearing a shirt now. This shirt might cost more than, this old sofa. And the reason why is not because there is any big color or any big work on it, but just because of small detail that is here. Some small details of other things in the cloth. So that is in the area of designing. If you see really rich people or designers' works, you will see that it is in the details that their excellence is, not in the brightness or in the color. When you go to Africa, for example, when people dress, they pay attention more to color and beauty and loudness and stuff. But when you go to the coutures, when you go to the people who are, having fashions, who are having podiums, who are, having, real houses of fashion and models, you will see that they don't have all those loud things. Just little details. Let's take women, for example, women beauty. A lot of, if you see women who are prostitutes, they put an all kind of, painting on their face to just be loud that we're here, we are beautiful. But to any sane person, that is already like it puts you away, because they don't pay attention to the. But you see a classy lady, a classy girl, a classy lady, she will not have all those loud painting and cosmetics. She just has them in some little details. That is where the excellence is. So the difference between good and great is in details. Now, if you look at this, this is a computer, this is iPad. Before iPad, they used to have computers, PC, personal computer table. You have to carry, something that they call something there. Then the screen is different. Then this engine is different. Then you have to be carrying all kind of things. But when Steve Jobs appeared in the market, details, and now you see that they make them smaller and smaller and smaller. The difference between great and good and great is in details. So the ability to see in details. Let's take medicine, for example. So what makes a good surgeon, or what makes a great surgeon better than a good surgeon? Because a good surgeon is a surgeon that can just do normal operation. But the great surgeon is the surgeon that will be able to pay little detail attention to every little detailed thing and be able to see and what other doctors don't see. The other doctors don't see everything. They can kill anybody, they can cut anybody anyhow. But the great surgeons, they see the little details that nobody else sees. So the difference between good and great is in details. Take any profession as well. Nurses, the same thing. Writers, the same thing. So the reason why I can make from one title 10 different books is because of that ability.
Just before you started, I even already found another one. Yes. Another example. When you see the veritable source of energy. When you see this one, you say discover the source of your latent energy. I mean, DSA, when you will give point one, this point two, this. I'm like, this thing is the same thing, but much later I now saw that I was shallow. But you were not just paying attention to the details, you had gone into the detail of the matter, so you could see where they where they have become divergent. Just like arteries in the body, they are running together, then they just split.
Separate.
So they separate at one point or the other. So, and that's really great, and I think that's why your book are awesome, because they address one question in details. One question.
And that is when you don't leave any no room for failure. No empty spaces. Everything is covered, everything is cemented, everything is totally covered. You know that if you touch on this, if this guy has touched on this, anybody can go and rest.
And you always say that life is governed 98% details, just 2% of wisdom. But the life we've lived, we've been taught that we should run and get wisdom and wisdom. But
then you are not able to apply.
Yeah, but from what I've learned from you, it is in fact wisdom in itself to pay attention to details.
Yes.
Because wisdom is the application of knowledge, the rightful application of knowledge. But knowledge can hardly be gotten in its full nature without attention to details, because it's like going through the macroscopic, then going to the microscopic. So you start going from the big dimensions to the smaller, to the smaller, to the smaller, to the minutest. When you can do that, you definitely see what others don't see. You would make more informed decisions. And once you make more informed decisions because you've paid attention to details, people will be able to say you are wise. But it wasn't necessarily because you were wiser than them. It was just because you could pay attention more to details. Yes, sir, you wanted to say something.
Yes, and it is the wisdom to see details, wisdom that sees details. Anyway, in your profession, medicine, a lot of people just read medicine, but they are no specialists. So when you take medicine, for example, everybody goes to medical school, but they are not the people who just finish medical school and they didn't go further, they are not the specialists. That's like my books. So if you say that we talk about energy, for example, everybody can talk about energy. They just think that energy is energy. But that is like medicine, the topic energy. But when you now begin to mention different ones, because apart from this, I still have 10 other topics on the energy. So by the time you begin to go into those different, those we are talking about specialization now. The ones that can treat everything and just say we do medicine, we finish medicine, they are not good.
Now sometimes I wonder if the world were not to be running by certifications and people will be asking you to bring certification. Sometimes you just feel like it's like university is a scam.
It's a scam, of course, it's a scam.
It's
for salary.
It's for salary.
Yeah, it's for employment. It is education that is worth it, not school education, not formal education, but self-education.
Self-education, like the ones we had in the days of enlightenment.
Those philosophers and things like that. And they included medicine, they included everything in that time.
They're just thinking,
they're just thinking and searching by themselves. That's what I do.
That's why you say Socrates is your friend.
Yes.
But why is it very hard? Is it the distractions of technology? Why is it very hard to find people thinking nowadays?
People are not focused on how to be in the here and now. People, their minds are not focused. Just like you. You like to look always do this and this and this and this.
But with me, at least with those ones, usually I'm looking for information.
Your mind is jumping. Your mind is jumping from one place to another. And for you to be like that, your mind has to be steady. Don't jump.
But for me, at least, I'm looking for information to my defense. But well, I think, we live in a world now where we are all distracted. Too much information. And no, we don't even have time to use it.
Can you imagine, why did I take a decision not to have WhatsApp or telephone even, or SMS, or even telephone, even any telephone, any device like this. Because I need my mind for something else.
But we can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do that. Somehow it's like dispensation has
But some
changed.
Nigerians, how can they
Or
take?
maybe
They
it's
have
because
two
you're
or-
old school.
Some of them have 2 or 3. Can you believe it?
But yes, maybe it's because you're old school.
But if you go to Nigeria and see successful Nigerians who are my age or even older than me, they're having 3. One is here, one is here, one is here. They will then give you an excuse that it's because of network or something.
But really, I mean, in Nigeria, a lot of things goes right. Because, for instance, you're in Nigeria, there's only going to be light for, let's say, 5 hours. And so you have to have at least 3 devices. I mean, there's a whole lot to change there. But, well, those of us who are in this age and we are of the technology age and we are somewhat tech savvy, I think it's very difficult for us to focus.
What about the children of the guests that they didn't allow to have those things?
He knew better. They say a drug.
Well, I thought they were the same age.
They say a drug dealer does not take from his own supplies. I saw a very interesting picture of Mark Zuckerberg, right? So he was in a room, and there were at least 200 people in that room with his VR, with his virtual reality glasses, and he was the only one without his stuff. So it gets to show us that these people have gone into details, like you said. They know the danger, so they know just what it can do, and they do not want it around them.
But can you imagine Bill Gates, who created this whole thing, discipline his children to use their mind for something more serious?
In fact, in your own
That
days,
is distraction.
in your own days, you could do calculation. They ask you 3 times 35. You say straight away. Nowadays, no.
People don't do that.
We can't. Calculator straight away. Or even smartphone straight away. Yeah, so I think there's a whole lot of distraction going on now. And it's affecting many of us. So I think it comes to mind what you always suggest, which is solitude. I think solitude. But I was speaking with Anu once. I said, the kind of life I live and eat, we are like, when will we actually have time for solitude? Because we are basically always usually alone too. So we finish from hospital, we come back home. We don't go out nowhere else. We just
solitude is another level. Yeah. Can you imagine solitude when you don't even go to hospital? Yeah. You don't even go to work. Yeah. You don't even go to anywhere. Yeah. Solitude is another level, because even if you are fasting and you are going to work, you are seeing cars, you are seeing people, you are seeing this, you are seeing that, you are distracted by that. I'm talking of solitude when you are just there with God and with your mind. A lot of people now, it's not even interesting for them to be without them, to be alone with themselves. They cannot afford to be alone with themselves because they have not developed their inner man. So my own secret, all these things that you say, if not for solitude, I will confess to you, I will not be like this. There is no way I will be able to conceive all this wealth and be able to give birth to them and be able to conceive them in myself. All this wisdom, there is no concentration to. The only other place to concentrate, to be able to conceive all these things, is the solitude place. Because even when I'm still the same thing, Pastor Sunday, but when I'm not on solitude, and when I'm just living regular life, I don't have time to conceive as much. But what I do is that out of solitude, when I'm not in solitude, I'm giving, which is also good. I'm investing, but in solitude, I'm adding a lot of values to myself.
Oh, there was a week you came out, you said, "Oh, I've read 21 books just today."
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And you're so happy just because you had time to yourself.
That is a big. Some people don't know it yet, what it means, the advantage in it. But when God can help you to discover that and to know, to be able to maximize a long time with yourself and with God, nothing like it.
All right, guys. So I think for the discussion that we're having at this moment, this book, How to Be in the Here and Now, will be of great benefit. And I'm sorry, YouTube viewers. Someone I was just informed that the YouTube viewers could not hear us clearly, but Facebook is good. So I don't know if there's something we can do about that.
I think it should be okay by now.
It should be okay by now. All right. So How to Be in the Here and Now is a book that can help you
Solve that problem.
solve that problem of bringing your subconscious to tally with your conscious mind. So and because a lot of us have stuffs buried in our subconsciousness, and many of you find out that you thought you did this thing, you thought you called this person but you didn't call. It was in your subconscious, but just because you were not in the here now, your subconsciousness did not materialize and did not come to terms with your consciousness. So How to Be in the Here Now is a book that I think would help you. All right, so
he said something about my books. What was he saying about my books?
yes, so he said every of your book that, okay, he said your books are a solution to the world's problem.
Yeah, that is very intriguing to me, because when Americans are even telling me, in fact, there are some Americans now who are giving me recommendations that please I should write books on topics also. Write on this one, write on this one, write on this one. And I'm saying, America. I mean, even Amazon alone has 5 million books. So why should you be still coming to Sunday Adelaja to be looking for his book? Then I discovered that even though there are millions of books out there, it's like God has helped me somehow to be able to come up with these unique titles and unique topics. And they border on, not just on religion. These are books on various, issues of life and areas of life. I think I'm blessed in that area, because when I look around, even in the internet, to look for topics and titles, these titles are still unique. Even the one you just heard now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there are people writing about them, but it's not something you normally, regularly will come across. In a world where everybody just copying one another.
Yes, sir.
To be original in such a world, I think is a blessing of God. So I'm grateful.
And the fruit of our
And I really don't doubt it that these books will can change the world, and they will change the world.
Sure.
Anyway, every country on the earth. I mean, some of my books were translated to Chinese, and Chinese people are running after me everywhere now, asking me for it.
Yeah. I can remember there was a guy who went into a bookstore and just saw your book. And since then, he's been glued looking for more, and the people around him are also looking for the same book.
Yeah, some people even say if they read just 2 of my books or 3, that to them it's like, it's not just the best they have read in their lives, it's like they have never read any other book before. It's like they have gotten more information or more blessing from 1 or 2 books than everything they ever read in their whole lifetime. And that's a good one, because, and everybody, I'll keep on asking me, which one will you recommend? Which one? It's impossible for me, because I always do my best for everyone.
And this is not like 1 or 2 or 10 books. These are going to their, it's already going to 100 now, going closer to 100, because it's already more than 50. You know, I mean the ones in English, not talk of the Russian ones, and the information is valid and still universal, because the you wrote them on the basis of principle and truth. All right, so he's saying that if the church had known of this earlier, that Christianity would not be in the position it is now.
Yeah, I think I probably was underestimating myself, because I used to think that we have millions of pastors all over the world. Even the ones we have in Africa, and with the big names and the big media publicities. And then in America, you have all these big men of God everywhere. And say, what is Pastor Sunday? Who is me? Let me just stay in my own lane. I've been brought here to the Soviet Union and to Russia. Let me just stay in Russia and stay here to, and be faithful. in the place where God has placed me. So I thought I don't have any relevance for the world at large. I thought if you go take London, you have Matthew there, you have many other pastors there. If you take America, you have all these Creflo Dollar, Kenneth Hagin, Kenneth Copeland. If you take Africa, you have Kumuyi, you have Adeboye, you have. I didn't know, I'm sorry to say that I have something that all those people don't have. And, and sometimes the people will discourage you from thinking like that because they will be thinking you are proud. But now, now nobody knows that more than me. And I think the world is started beginning to know that now, that there is something in this guy totally different from what the whole world has. And, I've come to accept that without thinking that people will without being afraid that people will think it is pride. Because really, I think God has really prepared me and, prepared me to be totally different from every other person out there. Yeah.
Yes,
So that's why I was not writing in English. I was not writing in English because I thought I was not needed. Now I know it's a mistake.
that the English word that the people were doing that.
Yeah?
That the English speaking part of the world that people were doing what you were doing.
Yeah, I thought there would be many even.
So you now came.
I thought there would be many. That's why should I even try to go there? It's just like somebody saying I should go to Nigeria to start a church. I was always be saying, hey, out of all places, Nigeria is full of, every street is full of, why should I come and add my own to it? That's what I always say. Why should I go? Nigeria is too much. It's not church Nigeria needs now. We have too much of it. Now I'm just discussing that we didn't even have church there. All those things they call church, it's just religious centers, no church.
Interesting.
But before, I was thinking, I'm not even needed there because they have too many churches.
Yes, sir.
Not knowing that there's no church there at all. No church of the Lord Jesus Christ in the model that church is supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So let's take this last thought process and
Because our time is fast.
because of our time, yes, sir. It's saying there's no text I have come across from you where you have insisted on give my church and be blessed. To the contrary, you've talked much about self-empowerment and helping and uplifting the poor, even using our living Bible scriptures to attain even the earthly success.
You have to explain yourself.
Well, that's what he wrote. So probably I have to explain what he wrote. So there's no text I have come across from you where you have insisted on give my church and be blessed. That's
yeah, that's so true. No, I don't. Nobody can accuse me of that I'm scavenging money from people. No. I don't exploit people for money or for gain. I would rather help people, rather to make money, to invest, or help people to teach people what to do with their money. The loss of money and how to make money, or I would rather give people opportunity to make money. But to be scavenging money from people or to be exploiting people for money, at least if they can accuse me of anything, but not for that, not on that one.
All right, sir. So, it said to the contrary, you've talked so much about self-empowerment and helping and uplifting the poor. You even use the living Bible scriptures to attain earthly success. So, you number one, you talk about how to empower yourself, and then your empowered self lift other people up. I know I've said this also, I believe times and times again, that those who come around you to this platform to learn or have ever watched your videos or have learned from you, you always see the trend of service, re-engineered, reinvigorated in them. They always look back to see what can we contribute, how can we help, and that's a growing trend. So, at what point did you realize the importance of service to humanity?
Yeah, because I used to think, what is the purpose of man on earth? What is the greatest reason for living? I don't know if people have really asked that question before, or if it's a question that is popularly asked. What is the essence of life? I have a whole book on it, the essence and value of life. So what is the reason for living for most people? I know it will not be in what most people will say, because most people will normally say to have children, to marry, to have children, to be successful, to have money. No. I know that is mundane. So I've always looked for the reason why, what is the real essence of life. And then I've discovered that it is service.
At what point did you discover that?
Before, I used to think that you have to be called by God
To serve.
to serve. That was the beginning of my stage, because that time was when I was exposed to only the charismatic view of service, that you have to fivefold ministry. But as I began to grow and develop more, I discovered that no, fivefold ministry is not, it's not even, doesn't define service. So I began to discover that everybody is called to serve. Maybe from the age of about 32, something like that. So in my 30s, I would say.
I'm wondering, in your 30s, you had already started ministry.
Yeah, I built the largest, by 33, I was pastoring the largest church in Europe.
So there was some sort of service that you were doing, because in fact the model of your church was different.
Yeah, because I was a fivefold minister. So I believe that if you're a fivefold minister, you serve. But the next question you said is
the
that
next question is
that everybody, that was in the 30s, I believe that I discovered that the whole essence of life itself for everybody is service.
So what prompted it?
Self-development. I kept on developing myself. Beyond, what helped me is that I started developing myself beyond the scope of charismatic Christians. Because before that 30-something, before 30 years old, my whole world was defined by Christianity in terms of charismatic Christians.
Yeah.
So everything I would read would either be Bible or Christian books. But after 30, or in my 30s, I began to delve into reading everything. And to reading Bible, to reading books, to reading history, to reading, biographies, to reading. So by expanding my scope of knowledge, I began to discover that I had locked myself in the underground.
Mm-hmm.
And then the underground itself, not just the underground, in the toilet of the underground, thinking that I was alive, thinking that I was in the square of Rome or of Paris, while I was not just in the underground though, but in the toilet of the underground of the world.
Not like a black man a blind man in a dark room looking for a black cat that is not there.
Yeah, that was what I was like. So when I, began to educate myself, I go, where was I? I had been, I've been defined. I had allowed myself to be labeled. I had defined myself by calling myself a Christian. Mm. We sometimes limit ourselves by labeling ourselves. So if you call yourself a Christian or a charismatic Christian, that labeling, sometimes it defines your boundary. So I had put a boundary around myself without even knowing it.
Wow. So service is the real purpose
and essence of
life. The ability, but to find purpose, one must first find himself. And so you discover that. To find service, you must first discover yourself, find purpose, where are you to serve, and then you start running with it. And for you, in sense of how you feel, fulfillment and all those, I mean, joy, happiness, and all those wise, can you explain the difference in how you feel then and how you feel now, knowing and especially doing what you're doing now?
What I feel right now and then, I was still feeling fulfillment. I was having fulfillment then too, because I was doing everything I knew, the best I knew to do. So I was one of the best in the world, even in my 20s and 30s, before I even started to live like that. But now, the difference is only that I can reach out to a greater scope of people and to any category of human being on earth, either Christian or not Christian or atheist or Buddhist, Muslim. I can be a blessing to the whole world. Before, I could be a blessing to my own little Christian something and talk their language. Now I can talk the language of the whole world, and I can say something about everything. You know, I am like universal minister of God now, rather than just a little charismatic pastor somewhere.
Wow. So it's all about service, guys. It's about service and the ability not to limit yourself. Don't label yourself by any description. I'm a pastor, I'm a worker, I'm a this, I'm a that. No, it's about serving the entire human race with what you've got. And the first thing that you can be is human, and everyone is indeed human. So look for how to serve humanity, and that's it. So I think we'll stop this letter here today. I will continue it the next time on the program. But just before we go, I will go through some of the comments that I can see here. And
I think I understand why you said you think you have a reminiscence of this letter.
yeah,
It's because it has been published on my Facebook
okay,
and my blog.
okay, possibly. But I felt the deja vu or something like that. All right, so I'll go through some of the comments, just some of them, and then we have your final word so we can let you go. Wow, I don't even think we have the time to go through the comments. So we just have your final words because of time. In the next 30 minutes, we have the continuation of the 9 p.m. program. We are doing Ashimodo and the God of Mammon. So it's going to be another interesting program today. So let's hear from.
Have you been hearing?
Yeah, I've been following.
Have you also been hearing of people's open letters to me, all kinds of open letters?
No, I haven't seen the open letters.
Good for
I
you.
haven't seen the open letters.
Good for you.
Well,
it is very interesting to see that our people would not even consider to give the benefit of a doubt that maybe they could be wrong. Please don't touch Adeboye. That's what everybody says. Please don't touch Adeboye. What is as if it's not human? I don't even understand what they're talking about. I don't even understand. Is it fear? I don't even understand what it feels like to fear. Can you believe it? I don't even understand it. I don't even get it. I don't even know what for me, it's just like talking to you. Correcting you or challenging you is the same thing as correcting Adeboye. No difference. I don't even know why people should think that there's a difference. I can't get it. I can't get what they're saying. What are they feeling? I don't even know what they are feeling in them to make them be suggesting that to me. Because it's just like say I'm correcting him or her. For me, no difference.
it's just human.
Yeah.
There's no God.
I mean, no God on this level, on this hemisphere. No God in this dimension. There are no gods here. Only humans. Anyway, peace. We'll see you Saturday. I will come back on Saturday with you.
That depends on the programmer.
Okay.
If not, then that will be next 2 weeks.
Okay. So if you don't come back, because this is the first time we're doing this week. I mean this month. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
So if not, then we'll see in 2 weeks. But that depends on the director of programs. So.
Okay. You have to talk to Babusha and say. Thank you, everybody. Peace.
All right, guys.
We'll see you in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Goodbye. See you the next time.